I've been here in Denver for 5 years. Before I came here, I came from Arizona. So I didn't experience any type of, living on the streets. I mean, I've never experienced it. And it was so new to me. And I didn't even know where to start. So it's first place I got was a Greyhound, and I just kind of worked my way to this park. And then I met certain people that have, been on the street, just kind of like off and on in housing and shelters and, but I experienced the shelters and I wouldn't go back. I'd rather sleep outside than be in a shelter. The only reason being is because I had more stuff stolen in a shelter than I have on the street. So it's just and plus just the way the shelters are, it's not sanitary enough for you to just sit in and sleep. I mean, I can't trust it just washing your hand, and they don't really keep everything clean and janitorial, that's very rare for them. So so I just chose to be outside, and but 5 years I slept through the winters outside, got snowed on. I had 3 inches of snow when I woke up on me, but I had nothing but like a backpack and like a pair of jeans and 3 t-shirts and a pair of socks. But I would always get people that would help donate, the people that come and share things and bring things, donate and but there are times where I know that somebody has fallen down a little further than me. I would go through my stuff and share my stuff with them. I slept with nothing but my jacket and my backpack because I gave my sleeping bag to someone else that needed it more. But it's just and really the whole perspective that I seen when I first got here is how it made me really value my life. It made me see why I was put here. And so you see a lot of people, and when they describe people being homeless, I feel that's an incorrect term. I mean, I say the unhomed, you can't say that on the street, because you don't see them standing in the street, in the middle of the street, laying in the street. They're just unhomed. They just fallen into in a rut. But it's just when I was going down 16th Street Mall, I'm asking, people, do you have $1, so I can get something to eat, and, or if I'm sitting down, they'd be, hey, how are you? And I'm like, I'm good. I'm like, hey, can you help me with $1 or, any change? And I tell them I'm homeless, and, and they tell me, you don't look homeless. What is it supposed to look like?
I was going to ask you, because you don't look homeless. Right?
Yeah.
You really don't.
Yeah.
You got this is all men in the comments. You got this totally adorable, cute vibe. You're on the bike. You got the straight. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I understand what you mean, and I understand
And that
how.
was all intended as a compliment.
But I
it came off
appreciate that.
worse
Yeah,
than
yeah.
I'm really sorry.
No, it's fine. But it's just it to me it puts out a sense to where people shouldn't judge anyone, at all. Because in God's eyes, He never judged nobody. And the God and the sight that and the vision that God provided you. Why would you go and degrade somebody because you have something more expensive, or you look a lot cleaner, or even the people that are on the unhomed, they think they're better or smarter. But I ran into people that I know that they've had a higher education. They have a home, but they refuse to go home because they're comfortable living out here on the street. And it's the comfort about it is because they don't feel that loneliness. They have lost family, family members because of, some people tend to go into drugs and alcoholism, and people are judged a lot. I mean, it's just it's ridiculous. And but like I was mentioning to Ben earlier, that I did an interview with Father Woody's. I volunteered with them, and they did a story on me, on what is homelessness and what does it look like, and just with that, it's just like everyone in reality, everyone has a piece in themselves where they feel unhomed, where they feel a little homeless, like you move, you go to school, or you go somewhere, you're missing something. You're not all at home because you're not whole. And so, and when you go to it's just that everyone's different. We all are in debt, everybody. Not just like the people that are walking around, like pushing a cart, or have all this baggage, and but people that have a home, they're not happy. When are you gonna be happy? Like how you gonna get happy? It's just that that's the reason why you gotta work with each other, and that's the reason why I don't like the way people know me is because I'm very respectful for every individual. I mean, I don't ask for much. I just, ask that people respect each other. And, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's just like, that doesn't cost a price. There's no price on that, so. But, yeah, so, I mean, I have 2 kids. They're in Arizona. It's, unfortunate, because I was going through alcoholism, and I'm getting over it. And so, but I just started going back to school, and going to Colorado Technical University online, and I'm 4 months into it, and I'm working to get my Associates of Science in Administrative and Health Services. The only being is because I want to open up my own shelter. I see the reality and how people are treated, when they go to the shelters. And I stopped working at Father Woody's is because they majority of the employees were homeless. But now that they have a job, they're making money, they're making judgment on people. Oh, you smell, you stink, you're dirty, that. What is wrong with you? Like, you live that life. And, I work it, and that's the reason why, a lot of people, they come up to me and, thank you, Cato, you are so kind, you're so sweet, you're so nice. And they're like, why are you still on the street? Well, the world is my home. I appreciate what God has provided me with, who I am, and the people I'm surrounded with. And, it's just like people get into arguments and whatnot, and they bicker. But when I go in, I'm just like, hey, like I bring the peace in mind of people. Like, it's not worth trying to get in trouble for, so.
You have said at least half a dozen things that have my mind spinning. Especially that remark about everybody has a piece of being unhomed inside. You also sort of described this journey.
Yeah.
You haven't described it. We more kind of touched on it tangentially.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit more about your journey? Like, where did you grow up? What's your family like? All that stuff.
Of course. Well, I was born in Cuba, New Mexico. That is northwest of Albuquerque. I was born there, but I grew up in Hawaii, off and on Hawaii, Arizona. I have family in Hawaii, and I mean I have family all over. I'm Navajo and Chinese, so I bounced around a lot. It wasn't military or anything. I was in foster care because I was taken away from my mom because she was constantly gone. I mean she was an alcoholic, and I got I always got taken away from her. They would take me and my older brother, but they always give my older brother back, but they always kept me, and I never understood why. But it was hard. It was like that all the way up until I was 16. And I mean, I've lived in the Philippines and Guam. I've lived in Tokyo. I lived in Saipan. I lived in Australia. Hawaii. I lived in all states except for Oregon, Washington, and Alaska. So that's my bucket list. So, but it's just just the reason why I moved around a lot is because the trust in people, and meaning like you can trust somebody, put your trust in somebody, even my family. I'm not close with my family. The only family I got, that is right there for me right now today is my husband. And he's from Pueblo. His name is John. And but
How'd you guys meet?
we met here. Oh, well, we met when I was working over at Father Woody's. So, he just said hi, and then, just talking, and and then
You
just
must
went
have
from
said
there.
more than just that.
Well, he used to always he'd just always smile, and I would always smile back at him, and he just had the smile of him that just really it really just caught me. So, but that's the only reason why he kept coming to Father Woody's to see me. But we've been together for a year, so but yeah, growing up, I mean, I didn't have to pay for anything. Things were provided for me, and I mean, I had a job. I went to school well, and and then I had my kids, and then slowly, when my family started giving up on me, I felt like they were taking advantage of me. I was working hard. I didn't have to ask anyone for any help at all. And it just felt like my family just flipped on me. And it really hurt the most.
Can you tell me more about that? Because you were talking about when you were growing up, foster care, and to a certain extent, they let you down.
Yeah. Well, because I couldn't trust them.
How old were you?
This all, when I first got taken away from my mom, I was 2 years old. They found me and my older brother walking down the street, and my mom was at the bar with her sister. And, we were walking, this is at 2 o'clock in the morning. And the cops picked us up and took us into CPS, and that was the first time. And then the second time was when I was 9 years old. I was molested by a family member. And
So sorry.
and then that happened when I was 12 years old. So, and then at 16. And it was just just getting taken away, and my mom never fought for me. That's why, it's hard for me to put my trust with my own family members. Even now, I will post something, on Facebook, or I'll call them, leave a message or send a text, no response. And letting them know that I'm in school, and no response, nothing. So why should I care? All I have is my uncles and my cousins, my aunts. My immediate family, and that really hurts. But I know I can get over it. I know it's going to continue to hurt, but I know I'm better than that. And I don't want people to feel like that. To where people are giving up on. It's not fair. That's why it hurts so much to see people treating each other badly. It's wrong. But that's why I said I learned from it, and that's why it's only making me stronger, and that's why I'm pursuing my education. When I first came to Denver, I didn't think about going back to school, but when I first got here, I came here with an ex-boyfriend who nearly killed me. He beat me to where if he hit one more blow to my head, I wouldn't be here. And he went to prison. And and I've never been through that type of pain. it was more like emotional pain. But physical pain was the first time I experienced it here, and it happened 3 times. Not from the same person, but 3 different individuals. Because they're always trying to steal from me. Why? Why? I have no idea. I mean, they just they just got greedy with me. You know, they didn't like me talking to anybody. It's just a whole lot of jealousy. And I was just always afraid, you know, just to. I kind of shut myself down for a while because I didn't know what any of these people would be capable of. I spent a whole year by myself, sleeping outside, and trust nobody. I just find a place where I could just just a little cove, just my size, and you know, and just try another day. I mean, there, you know, I had to realize what I really wanted to do. So I kind of just refocused myself, and you know, I noticed that, you know, my alcohol intake was getting higher and higher, which really just you know, it neglected, you know, pieces of my mind and my thoughts and my heart and you know, my strength. It you know, I didn't have all of that where it should be at, and so I had to stop, and I got a job. I was working over at Popeyes for a couple months, you know, and it helped strengthen me because seeing people that, you know, were you know, on drugs, and you know, and I still do, but I don't judge them. But you know, it's just taking in that job, it you know, it made me realize that I can still move forward. I can still, you know, gain you know, I can get somewhere. That I am somebody that can travel the world still, you know, and you know, and I think about my kids a lot, and that's what also keeps me going too as well. So, but yeah, Popeyes, and I worked over downtown here at this one vegetarian place. I was vegetarian for 2 years. So
I was going to ask you if you ate the chicken at Popeyes, because
Yeah.
I happen to love Popeyes.
yeah,
But I would imagine working there maybe not so much.
yeah, I gained a little weight, but you know, there's-
Let me
but
let me ask this question. You said that you were on the street for the first time here
yeah.
after that relationship. What and you also said that he nearly killed you. So I'm
Yeah.
guessing you were in the hospital.
Yeah.
What happened when you got out of? How did they let you out of the hospital? Where did you go? And what was that day, that week like?
Well, I was in the hospital for 3 days, and they waited. They got him in custody that night, and you know, I had 3 broken ribs. I had a broken nose, and I had I had my brain was bleeding. I forget what it was called.
An aneurysm?
Almost. If it was one more, then I would have had one. And then I just had I mean, he pulled me by my hair, he choked me. So I mean, my knees were scraped because he dragged me on the street, and then I had bruises everywhere on my face. I had I had both my eyes were blue. I mean, they weren't even light blue. They were I mean, they were just, and I had bloodshot eyes. So, you know, it was just bad. And but just when they decided to release me, I was just afraid to leave. You know, just that pain, and that you know, just being scared. Just you know, I didn't know someone come walking around the corner. I was afraid to go out by myself. So there's this place which is down the street from here. I forget what it's called, but it's like a women's center for you know, domestic violence. They took me in. They provided me with a phone, and you know, and then I always had domestic abuse person from the police department. She'd always check up on me, and you know, that was that year where I spent all by myself. you know, but they provided me with vouchers to King Super so I can get food. But they, you know, and I tried the shelter, but like I said, I couldn't do it. They wanted me to put me in like a domestic home, and it's just like I don't want to hear other stories. You know, it's just like it's just painful. So I mean, but I stayed out, but I kept in touch. But I stayed around here, but I stayed with people that I could trust, and there's only 2 people here at that time, but they no longer live here. But you know, it's just I was just always afraid. I couldn't sleep sometimes. You know, it's just like uh, it's, you know, it's just I was afraid to sleep. You know, because like getting that beating, I didn't know sometimes if I was gonna wake up or if someone was just gonna come and just like if I was gonna get raped or if I like someone was just gonna start beating on me. You know, I was scared to sleep. So, but I grew from that. Just pushing myself, and I had to get out of it because like it didn't. I wasn't getting nowhere, and
So what you just said, you had to get out of it.
mhm,
That's like 5 years of your life
mhm.
getting out of it. How did you get out of it?
I'm still in it, but how I'm getting out of it is going to school, doing positive, you know, like making positive choices, you know, and just helping everyone out here, you know, that feel that they feel abandoned, you know, and that helps me move forward. So, um, but this hawk right here is always flying around. So, you know, it's just me and my 2 brothers, my older brother and my younger brother, the one that passed away. Um, it was just 3 of us. We'd hang out, we'd ride our bikes, you know. That's the reason why I think I stick with my bike. It reminds me of like, you know, we had to be independent. My mom was hard, like she would always be gone, and she would leave us with no food, or you know, there are times too where one of her best friends that she used to work with, you know, would call us and say, "Your mom's in jail," you know, and don't didn't know what to do.
How old were you?
This is between the ages of 5 and 10, so you're just kind of you know up and down. And then from there, my mom separated from him, and then we moved to Globe, Miami, Arizona, and she took me with her, and she it was only just me and her because she got a job in the mines, and then the other kids were left with my stepdad at the house in Springville, Arizona. So and so it was just me and my mom. My mom got a house, and she just needed to get away from him because he was so abusive to her, and so she wanted to just you know just move away and just be away from that, and it was very painful for her.
Um, I can't believe your stories have absolutely opened my eyes in a lot of ways. To a lot of what people are going through.
Yeah.
The fact that you are studying now to open up your own shelter or you know to improve people's lives, that's a big piece of it. What's missing for people living in Civic Center Park right now? What do they what do they what do they internally need as well as what do they externally need?
Friends that they can trust. It's a lot about trust, you know, and that's why people are so guarded of their belongings and themselves because they've all been betrayed. I mean, not only do I have, you know, what I told you about, like what I went through, they all do, and it's just all like hurt and pain, you know, and everyone's suffering, you know, but you know, they're sometimes, you know, like most of them, I would say the ones that I know. I mean, if I were to go and ask them, if I were to go interview them, you know, they would open up to me. Is because, you know, it's just the way you approach people, and that's how they take it. You know, like if they should trust that person. You know, they're very protected you know, of their bound. They have boundaries that they you know. It's like you know how everyone, you know, you have that little circle around you, your your bubble. It's like that's how they all are, you know. And then sometimes they tend to clash, but like I said, it's only because it's trust, you know. And you know, you can't really just say, hey, you know, that's my friend, and just be. And you just go over there and say, I know you, I know, I remember you, I remember you. No one says, yeah, that's my friend. You know, but I go around and, I go around and say, hey, what's up, bro? I call everyone my brother and my sister. And that's my show of respect to them. And so, you know, if I'm ever in need of anything, they'll 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 come through for me because I give them that respect. And that's what they're also missing, you know, and just that judgment, you know, and they feel like, you know, like people that walk through, you know, looking, you know, like what I said, image. It's the whole image thing. You know, some of them make more money than some of the people that have a job, like a regular job. But, you know, it depends on how you carry yourself, though.
How do people out here make money?
They make money in different ways. Sometimes people find things and they sell them, or, you know, sometimes they don't even make money. Like, I mean, majority, I'm going to say, you know, is, you know, selling drugs, or, you know, you see a lot of people with bikes. That's a commodity. You know, people find bikes and they sell them, you know, or, you know, it's just, I mean, it's really one thing that is wrong, but, you know, people do it, but it's just like a survival thing. But it's like, you know, people get their food stamps. You know, they say they switch off and they switch off food stamps to get actually cash. Or, you know, when they get housing, they charge people, you know, you can use my shower. You know, it's just like anything like if you know, people like ask me if they can use my bike, and you know, they'll go, you know, that they'll go to the store and they'll buy me something. It's just not all about money. It's just like what, you know, what they need. Somebody will do anything to bring it in. Like they'll ask you, well, trade me this for this, you know, and you know, but it's just like that's how they survive, and that's what they're comfortable with.
Let me just. And this might seem like overly pedantic. When you say people find bikes, they steal it sometimes, right?
No, not all. I mean, you know, some people. I mean, they do. You know, like it's just it depends on, you know, because a lot of people like they go around and wherever they sleep and whatnot, people leave things, and so you know,
Let me just ask, and the reason I wanted to make that sort of distinction,
yeah,
folks kind of do with a lot of stuff to take care of themselves to survive out.
mm-hmm.
I get that. What's the what's the what's the hardest thing, or the worst thing that you've had?
Worse than that. Mm, um, I really can't think of anything. I mean,
They,
I just always gave away things, but like I've never went and like sold drugs or anything. I mean, I see it around me, but I don't get involved with that. That's not who I am. And but it's just like you know, just to see people like you know, shooting up or smoking, and you know, it's, you know, like people just like highly intoxicated. It saddens me because like I could have been like that. Like I want to probably wouldn't even be sitting right here. I'd probably be somewhere over there, and I wouldn't even have acknowledged like what is going on, and I wouldn't even be what I'm doing, and but it's just like I always say, like a lot of the people around here, they have housing, or they have family members. Maybe like 50% of the people, they have a home. You know, they only out here because like some of them they sell drugs because it's a lot easier to make money. They choose not to work, but they have a home. But vice versa, they have a home, but they still choose to sell drugs, or you know, do anything to make money. I mean, it's just everyone's all different, but it's like the whole money. You know, sometimes it's just like greed gets involved too. You know, it's just, I don't know. I don't like that.
This, I think, is going to be my last question. But you are our last interview of the day, and I appreciate you
Yeah, of course.
hanging out with us. And this is gonna be a clumsy question.
Don't trip on it.
But I'm gonna fall down. It's gonna be like a Chevy Chase somersault. I'll fall down the stairs with this. Stuff, life, stuff, situation.
Yeah.
For the homeless, with drugs, feels harder now. Feels worse. Feels tougher. If I'm right about that, if you share that sentiment even with a little, what's making it so tough?
It's making it tough. You know, is just like, I mean, it's not law. It's not the law. It's them all grouped together. You know, just like I said, it's just that like they don't. They're starting to lose respect. You know, they're starting to not value what is being provided for them. And from that, you know, being said, is like how, you know, they're starting to treat it. They're falling like negative towards each other. It's just you know, there's plenty of opportunities to get an honest job, and you know, it's just they just think just because they're homeless, you know, that you know that that everyone should treat them better than other people. You know, just like for example, Father Woody's, where I used to work, they would come in and they want like you know, like a 5-star treatment. You're just coming in here just like everybody else. You know, you ain't any different. The only reason you make it harder is because like you want people to treat you better because you feel like you're different. That's what it is. But you put yourself different because of how you carry yourself and how you treat others. And you know, it's all these guys. They're not starving. They're not. They don't have. It's not like they don't have anything. I mean, they got family members. There's options. There's plenty of options. You know, me, I know I have the option. I don't have to be, but you know, I'm happy with the way I'm living. Is because I'm happy. You know, I respect myself. Me and my husband, you know, we work together. We support each other, and you know, we don't get involved with like certain individuals because like they can take from you, and they will throw you under the bus for something, and then that's where it takes off, and it just like goes downhill, and then you know, it's just like that's why you got to be aware of like who you surround yourself with. But with me going to school, that's what's keeping me positive. But I know I'm gonna get off the street because God has like been there for me, and I always say my prayers, and He's answered a lot of them. And you know, I'm just waiting. I'm just a patient person. You know, I'm not trying to force anything. You know, because I know there's other people that you know that need it more than I do, and I'm just gonna let everything flow. I just let things flow, and I'm just happy. I just so it's just keep a smile on your face. Like that's what I tell people. Like, why are you so down? You know, you're out here, you're loved. You know, just be blessed that you have another day to live. You know, like you weren't born to walk backwards. You were born to walk forward. You took your first step forward. You didn't take your first step backwards. So yeah, go forward. You know, you can swagger side to side, but but you always end up forward. But
I certainly hope so. Kato, thank you so much. This has
Of
been so
course.
good talking to you.
You're
I'm
welcome.
grateful.